A sandstorm in gets on. Algeria. The consequences of heavy rain in Derbent, Dagestan. Streets of the city 77 turned into lakes, Russia. Flooding in Tripoli, Libya. Hundreds of people have been killed. In a devastating earthquake in Morocco. A rare and powerful earthquake struck Morocco late last night, killing more than 1,500 people and damaging buildings in the historic city of Marrakesh. The magnitude 6.8 quake is the strongest ever recorded in the mountain. Hail rivers in Corella Navarro, Spain. A tornado was seen this afternoon in Salinas, Puerto Rico. Massive flooding due to heavy rains in Shanghai, China. A whirlwind is captured in a fire burning in Savannah Broma, east of Java, Indonesia. Popocatépetl volcano eruption, Mexico. Large hail passed in the city of Worms, Germany. Strong storm wreaks havoc in Mato Grosso do Sul, Brazil. Storm hits Mykolaiv. Houses, cars, roads damaged, Ukraine.
Prophecies that are unfolding in front of us. So before I continue with this video, I just want to make sure that you that are watching, you decided that you wanted to watch this, make sure that you have all of your senses with you. What do I mean with that? I mean that this is a sensitive topic for some people, I have noticed. I recently had this discussion with one of my acquaintances over the phone, and she is not even from any of those ethnicities or religions or whatever that I'm gonna so-called dismantle here. But she got very offended. So I noticed that this is a very non-touch zone, you know, it's easy to interpret in different ways and just take out of context and basically shoot the messenger, you know? So before you watch this video, make sure that you're ready, you know? Okay, so a lot of us have not missed that is a lot of different events that is happening all over the world, and it is, like I said in one of my videos, like we are living basically biblical phantoms every other week, more or less, all over the world. So a lot of people cannot have missed that. And even if you're not religious, this stuff that keep occurring, it makes you want to go back and research and try to find answers and, you know, make it match with whatever's happening. You know, try to find something that can make it match. Okay, so what is a prophecy? A prophecy is a prediction of the future, basically. How do somebody know what is a prophecy versus what is just very calculated guesses or gut feelings? How do you know the difference? Good question. Nobody actually knows, but from the requirements, it needs to be something that you get from the Most High, from the Creator. You get some kind of mission, some kind of title. You have a little closer bond, a little closer connection to the creator. So you are basically the middle person that will translate these hieroglyphs into messages to the rest of the population, basically. But yeah, so who delivers these so-called prophecies? Like I said, usually it's somebody that is spiritually connected to the creator of some sort, some kind of prophet, prophetess, aka messenger. So that's the old school. But the new school, like the messengers, could be your favorite rapper. It could even be the homeless person you see on the street. We don't know. I am no professional when it comes to religion, because like I said in many videos, it's nothing that is really interesting to me like that. It's just small stuff that I can sometimes want to know more about, but not like deep dive like that, you know? So don't take anything that I say as like it's written in stone. If you want to, and what I suggest you would do is, after you watch this, make sure that you go and do your research, your own research. Try to find the scriptures, try to find all of these and connect the dots. But I'm not here to give out false messages, okay? Let's just clear that out. I'm not here to give out false messages. This is something that I myself have done my little research on. But like I said, you can deep dive in everything. Okay, so different prophecies that I generally feel that we are living in right now, that we are going through right now. So let's start with the Muslims. Okay, so the Muslims, they have a lot of prophecies, but it's some of them that is sticking out a little bit more for me than others concerning everything that is happening. So one of the prophecies the Muslims have in their religious book is that signs of end times. Everybody has signs of end times. This stuff will occur. This person will show up and all of this stuff. When you see this, you know that we are living in the end days or something like that. Every religion have it more or less. So what I found interesting was that the Muslims, they said, I don't know exactly where, but they said that small-eyed people would take over the world. Like that would be a major sign that we are living in the end times. And a lot of people have been misinterpreting that, you know, or misinterpreting. They have been interpreting as they wanted to and have made it seem like these people were talking about aliens, you know, like small-eyed people, aliens. And the more you dissect this and you see what's going on around the world, I don't know, but I keep going back to, I think that these people, they're talking about Asian people. I genuinely think that they are talking about Asian people, because let me give you some examples, okay? If we take like Southeast Asians, you know, Indians, Pakistanis and all of this, who is the so-called prime minister or like in a very high role right now in the UK? Is there people that is sitting in a minister post in the UK? Nothing wrong with that, but I'm just saying, we are evolving very fast. And you know, they have a subgroup, they have people that come from Afghanistan, you know, like some of them, most of them, they have very Asian looking features, you know, the cheeks, the eyes, the head shape, all of it. And from what I have known, since I live here in Europe, in Sweden, it's been a lot of immigrants from Afghanistan that has been coming to Sweden. And when you talk to these people, and you talk to the other people that are so-called causing them to have to flee, then these people are saying that they feel discriminated against, you know, because they look different. So I'm talking about the Afghanistans that are living in like Iraq, Iran, and all of these other so-called Middle Eastern countries. The reason, like, they have their own reasons, like the political reasons for why they have their fights and dislike each other and all of this stuff, even though they share common ground like religion, language, and sometimes even culture. But it has to do a lot with so-called prophecies as well, I think. Yeah? You know, that these people, they don't resemble your typical Middle Eastern people, you know. And if you have in your book that, okay, our so-called demise or whatever, is gonna look like this, and then you have that living amongst you, in front of you, like it's hard for some people that are very old school, to accept that. And let's not even talk about the new organization that many people have heard about, probably. What are they called? BRICS. It's like the European Union, but it is like superpowers. It's India, it's China, it's South Africa, Russia, Brazil. It's a lot of countries and nations that together have decided that they want to go together and have like their own little union with their own currencies, their own everything. And I think I have my own thoughts about this whole thing, if I'm gonna be honest. And I'm very shocked because usually, like, when it comes to China and India, they don't see eye to eye when it comes to a lot of stuff, from what I heard from these people themselves. So I would think that it's gonna be interesting to see how all of these nations that usually don't get along will try to get along. Asian countries, in many measurements, are one of the fast growing populations all over the world. So you see that they almost have become like the new age colonizers. And I'm saying this because it's not like the old school, you slaughter people, you take off their hands and you put them in slavery like that. It's very new school, this so-called colonization. So you see that you go to Jamaica, they are there. You go to Africa, they are there. You go everywhere and they are there. But they are not amongst the people. They have their own little community, their own little businesses and all of this stuff. Me, myself, I have been traveling a lot, so I have seen this in many places, like West Africa, Guinea. It's a lot of like Asian, specifically Chinese people that will move there, and they will take their families and all of this with them, and they will have the local people working as guards, like guarding their so-called gated community, so nobody else can trespass. They will have their own businesses, and if you're gonna work in those businesses, you need to learn their language, even though you are on your soil. Do you understand? South Africa, that I have been to, you have people of Indian descent that have been there so long now that they feel like they are South African, but somehow in another rank, because they already have that caste system, some of them. So they basically take that caste system with them and view, not all of them. I need to put this out. I know people understand, but I still need to put it out because I know how the internet works. Not all of them are like this, but from what I have seen is a lot of discrimination, a lot of segregation, a lot of racism, straight up racism from certain group of people there, from what I've seen. And if we're not just talking about Africa, look at Europe. Like here that I live in Sweden, a lot of Swedish companies, original Swedish company like Volvo, not Volvo, Saab. It was a car dealer, car company, just like Volvo, Ferrari, or anything like that. The Chinese people have bought that up. So now it is, and the Swedish people, I don't know what they thought. They thought maybe that the Chinese people was gonna help them to keep the factories so people could keep their jobs here in Sweden, But they ended up taking the whole factory back to China and basically selling the cars to the Europeans, the Swedes, while they are making the money. And you have seen this with the trains, like when you're commuting. The trains are not owned by the Swedes anymore, like it is owned by China. You go to places like Portugal, you have your own little like Chinatown or whatever it's called. They have their own boutiques, their own restaurants, culture, everything. It's like you are in a whole nother country while you are in Portugal. Do you understand? I'm not saying that this is a bad thing. Absolutely not. I'm not here to discuss politics. Do you understand? I'm talking about end time prophecies. And these end time prophecies that the Muslims have, that small-eyed people who's gonna take over the world before the end times. I don't think they were talking about aliens like some people think. I think they were talking about Asian people, and this is the examples that I'm giving right now, that you have different types of Asian people all over the world basically doing their thing. Do you understand? So I'm like, it is evolving in front of us. It's hard to miss. And whatever you may feel about it personally, that's on you. But I'm saying that this is something that somebody predicted centuries, if not longer, ago. And you see it starting to unfold now. Okay, so when it comes to the Jewish practice, if I'm gonna be honest, I am not very well-rounded when it comes to the Jewish practice. I think it's one of the most interesting ones, to be honest, but I am not very well-rounded, so I didn't find a lot of prophecies for them. Like, to find prophecies for the Jewish community, you have to go to the Old Testament of the Bible, basically. Jeremiah, I don't know how to pronounce this, 23.3 something. They're talking about the so-called promised land. You know, that the Jewish people, the Jews will finally have like their own place or everything. Do you understand? Like first they will scatter all across the world, you know? But eventually like they will come to this so-called promised land that the Most High had promised them. That is one of the signs. That is one of the signs. So one of the prophecies, like this is something that's gonna happen, you know? And the thing is, like, some of these Jewish people, they have been taking this in their own matters. Like most of you guys know with the wars in the Middle East, with Palestine and all of this. Like, they have been taking these so-called prophecies in their own hands. So you have people, Zionists, that are Jewish as well, but another side of the spectrum, these people are more like, you know what, we're gonna wait. You know, we're gonna wait for this so-called prophecy to reveal itself, to, you know, like in a kosher way. We want this prophecy to be fulfilled in a kosher way. We're not gonna take this in our own matter, you know. So you have that. And I need to mention now again, I'm not attacking anybody. I'm not saying this is right, this is wrong, this is whatever. I'm just repeating what I have read, what I have seen, and I'm putting my 2 senses in it. That's it. Okay, so when it comes to the Christians, they have a lot of signs. Like, okay, so this will happen, and when you see that this starts happening, then you know that we have entered the so-called the end times. Okay, so one of them is that the rise of the Antichrist. Like you will see a lot of fake, false prophets and prophetess and all of this. Like they will just whoop, you know. I have been talking about this on YouTube before. So if you haven't seen my video talking about false prophets, I suggest that you go back and watch it. But basically, like, it is true, but it has always been true. Like, you always have in every department in life, I feel like, real ones and fake ones and pretenders. Like, it feels like it's inevitable, but it's a little bit more now. I don't think I'm the only one that have noticed. It's a little bit more now than maybe before. You know, that you will have a lot of self-proclaimed so-called messengers, especially on social media, that will sit there and give out basically gossip. It's not even, you know, it is straight up gossip. And they also have natural disasters. Like you will see a lot of natural disasters happening all over the world. And I don't think a lot of people have been missing what happened in Morocco recently. It was some kind of earthquake or something like that. Hawaii, the same. Even here in Europe, a lot of places had their natural disasters. So I'm just saying that, okay, somebody could be like, yeah, but this has been always, and it will continue because of, and you will give like some kind of scientific reason, you know, global warming and all of this. Yes, we have that in consideration, but I'm just saying, when you start to see 1, 2, 15, 55 of these so-called prophecies revealing itself in this age, you must be like, oh, okay, what is this trying to tell us? Just think about it. You don't have to go in and deep dive more, but just have that in mind. And they also say, the Christians, that a lot of nations will go against nations, parents against children, children against parents, and everybody would basically be unfriendly to each other. And I'm like, okay, this is one of those things that has been happening forever too. It's nothing new. But I feel like it's a little bit more, everything is a little bit more amplified at this time and age than before. One thing I do want to say when it comes to these so-called prophecies, end-time prophecies that all of these different religions have, is that I noticed that a lot of these religions, they will see themselves as the so-called victims, and when these signs are starting to come, that they will be the ones being rescued. And I'm thinking like, okay, wait. When all of these so-called natural disasters has been happening all over the world, you have a lot of Christians, Muslims, Jews, non-believers, all of them together, living together in one country, one city, one region, and they are all tasting the same consequences of the so-called natural disaster. Do you understand? So that makes me like, you know what? I think we can learn from everybody, you know? You share whatever you come up with. Most of these prophecies, if I'm gonna be honest, most of these prophecies from different religions, they are very similar. Like they have the same, they have their antichrist, they have their phantoms, they have their savior that will come and solve all of these. Most of this religion have all of it. They're just a little bit different. Like this religion is describing it like that. That religion is. Do you understand? But the ground, yeah, it's basically the same more or less. All I'm trying to say is that I really deep down in my heart believe that the Most High is not gonna do any big difference when it comes to us, when it comes to religion. Like if the Most High is gonna separate people because of different, I don't know, you know, you being good, you being bad, you being this, you being that. Like I don't think it's gonna be because you practice this religion, you go into hell. You serve this God, you go into heaven. Do you understand? I think it's gonna be a lot of other measurements that people are not thinking about. But religion won't be one of them. Because like I said, with the natural disasters, it is hitting everybody. Believer or non-believer, it's hitting everybody. So what is that saying? What is that saying? If the Most High was against a specific group of people, it will happen in a specific region, a specific, do you understand? But this is happening all over the world, more or less to everybody. Okay. Anyways, to end this video, I just want to say, have a good day, have a blessed day, have the day you deserve, okay? Have the day you deserve, and don't be a prick.